Creations, where everything is handcrafted with love. We specialize in personal and custom-made baskets, bracelets, candles, and Lady T's Elegant Creations, where everything is handcrafted with love. We specialize in personal and custom-made baskets, bracelets, candles, and more. So when you're looking for that perfect gift or just need a custom arrangement, don't hesitate to contact Lady T's Elegant Creations, where everything is handcrafted with love.
For more information, please call 609 531 1756.
All right, welcome back to Let's Get It. Really appreciate you joining us again for our second segment. And we have on the line for us the coach from Hamilton West High School, Brandon Johnson. How are you today, Coach?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good, good. I know you are the head coach at the Hamilton West High School, the Hamilton Hornets. I know once again, we appreciate you joining us. And just talk a little bit about the boys basketball team, the varsity team. I know you guys have started off, with rough season because of COVID. Haven't really got a chance to get on the floor yet. I know that speaking with you, earlier this morning, you told me your first game is going to be this coming Thursday. So let's hope that with the weather and with COVID, you guys can try to get a chance to get on the floor. I know you said it's your second season over there, coming off of the season last year. You know, you were 10-15, but I know you told me that you guys could have had about 18 wins. You had about 9 games or so. You lost by like 3 points, so it was a tough game. Just tell me a little bit about your program, a little bit about your philosophy, especially the Let's Do Work philosophy that I know that I heard about.
Thanks for having me. When we talk about our philosophy as far as work is just a positive energy that forces you to work harder and smarter in all aspects of life. And not only do we want to talented kids on the court, but also off the court as well, whether in the classroom or whatever else they're doing in their life. So with that motto, like I said, we just find ways to get the job done. We want to outwork all the competition, and we want to outthink our competition as well. And I figure you put those two things together, then success is our only option.
No, absolutely. And I know, like I said, we were talking in our first segment just about how much a coach influences the game and how much, that attitude and mentality can impact the play on the court. So for yourself, like I know we talked a little about a couple players that you have in your program. In particular, to highlight, you have senior Jack Buford. I know you had a couple transfers. You said Arteria Williams and Maurice Williams, and also Jarrell Hall were a couple big players that you had spoken of. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that and how they're going to be a big part of your team?
Just in general, I feel like we have about 8 guys who can contribute and play a big part this year. I feel like we'll have like a Jack Buford would be a guy who could be a player of the year candidate, as well as Arteria Williams and Maurice Williams. Like I feel like those three talent that they have on the court, the impact they bring for a team is very important for our success. But in general, we don't have different guys that step up everything. I go back to Jack. Jack is our senior. He'll be our leader, our captain. He's like a 3-level scorer. He can, shoot the ball from behind the deep line, has a very good mid-range defense, as well as basket. When we talk about Maurice Williams, he's going to be one of the guys running the show for us as far as the point guard position. His numbers, like I said, he has the ability to score 20 points a game, but he can impact the game in other ways as well, as far as just him pushing the pace and setting the tone defensively. And once again, he has a great vision. And then our new transfer we got in with Arteria Williams, he's like we call him Tank because he's a brute force. He's big, strong, athletic, and he has great touch around the run as well.
Oh, no, that's fantastic. Now, like I said, we have Coach Marcus Bullock with us, who is the head coach at Holy Cross High School. So I'm sure he has a couple questions for you that he'd like to throw over to you.
Coach, thanks for joining us. How has, other than obviously you guys have had some games canceled and things, how has COVID affected your ability to practice, the way you practice, or different things like that?
One of the biggest things is just the time left in practice. usually start the year, as you know, that's a lot of teaching, putting in your foundation and everything. And when you're limited to 2 hours or less sometimes, you're kind of speeding through some things because you want to make sure you at least touch every day. That's been one of the biggest challenges besides the concentration, is just the practice, how many you get in the gym with the board.
For sure. And what kind of style do you like to play? How do you envision you guys playing this year?
Our base is defense. We really want to score about 30 points a game just in transition from us getting stops and then getting out and running. Whether it's us forcing them to take tough shots or we create turnovers and get out and run. And on the offensive end, we want to look for the best shot. We're freelance. The guys have options to do what they need to do on top of the plays. But we're looking to draw too or find an open guy, and we like to exploit mismatches as well. So, like, with that being said, when I'm talking about guys, I'm mostly have one guy or two guys. I feel like I have a bunch of guys because we always just look at people who have an advantage and they'll take advantage of that.
For sure. Last one from me. What has been in your coaching career, not just this year, the hardest thing for you to relay to your players in terms of a drill, a skill, whatever it is? What's the hardest thing do you think for high school players to pick up
on? For me, the hardest thing is to have the kids want it as bad as I want it. Like, I feel like just in general over the past few years that I've been coaching, I just get a group of kids who just kind of just happy to be there. They may not have any aspirations to be the best. They may not have aspirations to play at the next level. They may not have aspirations. They're just kind of just happy to be there, to have a jersey, get a few Instagram likes, post a few hundred, and that's about it. But with sports, like for me, whatever I want to do, I want to be the best I possibly can be. If not, then I'm sure why waste your time trying to do it. So to get them to understand and care about it as much as I did, has been one of my biggest challenges. So I feel like we always come to a common ground. And then once they grasp it, that's usually when the success starts to happen.
That sounds like the speech I gave Friday morning.
Now, Coach, I know, like you said, this is your second season, and I know that actually last year, like I said, despite the 10 and 15 record you said, that was actually for the schools program in itself a phenomenal, upcoming, because they have had 5 or 6 win seasons for the longest time. I know you said you were a graduate of Hamilton West, and when you guys lost last year in the second round of the playoffs, you actually ended up losing to Wall Township? And
Wall Township.
And they ended up winning the sectional. So, I mean, even though, like I said, the numbers may not show, you guys really had a very successful season for the school.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're someone that kind of followed along and watched our games, we were always an entertaining game to watch. And we beat some of the top teams in the area. But we also, like I said, blew some games that we had, which was frustrating. But with that being said, just getting the guys to understand what it takes to win. We show that we can rise to the occasion and knock off some of the top teams, but then we come in the next day and we don't put that same energy and it bites us in the butt. But as far as the program, I think our seniors laid the foundation for us to take that next step in the right direction. The goal is to build one of the elite programs, like I said, across the state, not just in the county or in our area. We want to be known, like I said, from top to bottom in the state. And I feel like we laid that foundation last year with our seniors.
Absolutely. And I know that prior to, being over Hamilton West, like you said, you were a JV coach and an lead assistant, at Nottingham High School. So just that experience that you had in the past, of being in that role, how did that prepare you to be a head coach?
I kind of, when I first started, I want to think about being a head coach. So because I ran my JV program like a varsity program. So I feel like that was the easier transition for me instead of, just kind of being there and leaving everything on the head coach. He gave me a lot of power at the varsity program and the JV program to, implement some things that I wanted to do in my philosophy. So I feel like I said that helped transition me. So even the last year, my first year being a varsity head coach, that was more like year 6 or 7 than me just coaching because I was doing the same thing with me.
Absolutely. And, I know Jay has something he may want to ask.
I got 2 questions. How you doing, Coach?
Good, how you doing?
Not too bad, brother. So listen, are you you're at Hamilton West? Are you in the building or just in just pretty much like in the community? Like, are you in housed in the building or whatever, or you just kind of like in the community? I'm just curious.
So as he said earlier, I went to Hamilton West, so I'm a part of the Hamilton environment. But I teach at the middle school.
Oh, okay.
Health and PE at the middle school.
Okay.
And then probably, if not next year, soon they'll transfer me over there to the high school.
Okay, all right, that's good. And my next question is the Hamilton area, right? So I'm always intrigued by that area. That was one of the places I thought about actually moving to. I like the Hamilton area, and it's a weird area where you can get Philly sports and New York sports.
So that'd be perfect for you.
See, it's like the hybrid place.
So you can
of
have 9
Jersey,
teams.
You know what I'm saying?
See,
Right.
Brandon, the gentleman Jay who's talking to you, he's from New York.
Okay.
So he tries to say that he roots for every single team from New York. So go ahead,
Yeah, Coach, you got the pardon, Randy. I can definitely speak. You know what I mean? But that's all right, though. You just have to pardon him. You know what I mean?
I just wanted to give you I just want to know where you were coming
He
from.
introduced me. It's okay, though. Listen, no. So being that you went to that school, whatever, who was your team? Were you a New York fan, or you were more of a Philly fan? I'm just curious.
So I was more so in neither. Like my dad was a Lakers fan, the Niners fan, so he was more of a West Coast guy.
Okay.
But when I was growing up football-wise, Deion Sanders was my favorite player.
Oh, yeah.
So I was a Cowboys fan.
Oh.
And once he retired, I never kind of picked a favorite team after that. I just kind of root for the players. And
Okay.
basketball-wise, obviously I rooted for the Lakers, Nets, and everything here. But then because of my dad with Shaq and Kobe, I was rooting for the Lakers as well. But it was just the Philly fans, they kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. So I just had to.
Oh, you know what, brother? We appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah. Listen, listen, hey, brother, they rubbed me the wrong way, too.
You know what? Brandon, you know what? Todd should have told me about the Todd. Listen, shout out to Todd Jones, who was, helped us.
My man Jones.
Like I said, I know Brandon. We should have had this conversation before the show. But no, go ahead, man. I mean, you can't go wrong with prime time. You really can't. Now, why? Let me ask you this: why do Philly fans rub you the wrong way?
I just feel like, if you're a Philly player and they love you, their love that they have is great, but I feel it's blinded. I just feel every year they tell you that their team is the best, their team is that, and then when they don't reach the expectations, they always got some type of excuses. They're just not realistic with whatever's going on in their situation.
I feel like I was set up by this.
Wait a minute. Now, Coach, so you've noticed it too, huh?
Yes,
Right.
I
See,
have.
I tell you, I think it's like, I'm a counselor, right? So we go off this thing called the DSM. I think it's like a diagnosis. I think it's a condition. And I'm doing some research on it too. You know what I mean? I said I was going to do my little thesis on it.
I think, honestly though, I think that's on.
I feel
I think
attacked.
that's Eagles fan.
I feel attacked.
Oh, but you know what? I'll say yes, but I'll also say I don't know, because like even with let's say Tobias, right? Tobias was vilified by the Phillies, by the Sixers fans, vilified, and even I was like, you might have paid too much for him. But then you know what? I was like,
I agree.
But then I was like, you know what? I put it more on Brown. I said, yo, Coach Brown, he's just not that type of coach like that. So now you seeing like a transformation of him, really. But really, you actually just seeing somebody that understands his strengths and his weaknesses. But he was being killed last year
Because he was awful.
but it wasn't his fault, though. Is what I'm saying. No.
Accountability.
I agree with that.
Okay, I mean, but then we don't have the same accountability in some of us in here.
For the Eagles, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
I'll say you're right
I
about
agree. I think the Flyers fans are different. The Flyers fans are
I don't
like,
even know too many
the
Flyers
Flyers can do no wrong.
So, you're right though. And we'll get back to you in a second, Brandon. No, you're right about that, Mark.
I'm enjoying this conversation.
That's one team in this area that gets a pass, like
No matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, and I'm a Flyers fan, but I'm not a diehard Flyers fan. I follow them, but if you talk to the diehard Flyers fans, they can do no wrong. You're right about that.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, but the Eagles, I think you're right. I think it's the Eagles fans. I think you're
mean, no,
right.
I think it goes to every fan base in Philly. I agree, but I think the Eagles fans
It's the
are
most.
every year.
Yeah.
Every year we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And every year we don't go to the Super Bowl, it's because of X, Y, Z. That really isn't.
Right.
It's never just we weren't good enough.
Just weren't good enough. Right.
It's never that.
Right.
So speaking of, and then we'll get back to just speaking of Super Bowl, Brandon, I know we have the Super Bowl coming up between the Bucks and the Chiefs. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm King Pat Mahomes to pull this off.
Okay.
I think it'll be a good. I think it's gonna be a really good matchup. But I just feel like somehow, some way, the offensive firepower of the Chiefs are just gonna, like I said, score enough points to win that game.
No, listen, I hope so too. And just to go back, Coach, once again, joined by you, and we appreciate it. For you, and like I said, we hope to see you get back out on the court on Thursday, start the season. What's your expectations for this upcoming season?
My expectation, as well as our players' expectation, is honestly we expect to win every single game we play this year. That's just where the mindset we're at as a program. But like I said, realistically, we can have one or two slip ups, and then hopefully at the end we do get our county tournament that we have. We'll have a 2-game county tournament for the top 14. We're looking to be victorious and come out on top.
Fantastic. And before we let you go, Coach, I know Jay's got
Well, I just want to
something.
say I appreciate you, Coach, for joining us, and I appreciate that answer. It's good to see coaches like yourself, coaches like you, Marcus, that have the just the preparedness to know what you want to say when you're on the air or on the radio. You're not fumbling the bag, you're not fumbling the ball when it's like so you're talking about different systems in place and stuff like that. So appreciate you being able just to articulate your answers correctly, sir.
Now, I don't know, Brandon, if you had what we're watching the first segment, we had talked about, I don't know if you followed either, the Nick Sirianni, who the Eagles just hired.
Yes, I was watching.
Yeah, and so, he just felt like, he was fumbling a little bit. So, but once again, we appreciate it. Coach, you have anything before we let Coach go?
No, Coach. Good luck.
Absolutely.
Hopefully everybody stays safe, and hopefully you guys get on the court soon.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Good luck to you as well, and thank you guys for having me. So have a blast.
Absolutely. We'll have you later on in the season. Check in and see how you guys are doing.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care.
All right, take care. All right, let's give it up for the coach, though.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Good interview. And you know what? Listen, shout out to everybody that's out there that is in New York or Jersey or whatever, and you're that hybrid type of guy. You're that hybrid person that like the Philly sports, but then you like the New York sports.
That's
Move to Hamilton. You get both.
It's funny because my buddy does. He's a New York guy, but he gets both. He gets it both.
Lucky, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, once again, I said Coach Brandon Johnson of the Hamilton West High School team. Appreciate him joining us. We're going to cut a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. When we come back, once again, we have a phenomenal interview. It's going to be our producer's son, Jason Price. We're going to be talking about a phenomenal story of perseverance. Join us. Stay tuned. Appreciate you joining us.